Well, welcome back to another edition of Traits Triumph by way of What's the Play Productions. I'm Christian here with Nate and Brian. Shout out to JB. He's out living the life in Las Vegas right now, so he's unable to join us. But we had to get out another episode for you all before the NBA draft. We've been a bit delayed, but not deferred, as the good Lord said. And so we're back with another mock draft. Our second edition, this will be a predictor pick. Given the fact that it's only three of us, we would just do a snake format, alternating for all the three picks. So Brian will have the first pick, Nate will have the second pick, I'll have the third, then I'll have the fourth, Nate will have the fifth, Brian will have the sixth, so on and so forth. So we just jump right into it. There's some interesting draft talks around the three range, so I'm interested to see what you all think about what will occur, what should occur. And Brian, I'll just go ahead and pass it to you.
All right, we'll make this one short and sweet. I mean, this has been the pick since May 25th or whatever the lottery was selected. So Nico runs up to the board and drafts Cooper Flag with the first pick in the draft.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much written in stone that Cooper Flag will be the Dallas Mavericks pick at number one. Nate, this next pick, is this one in stone as well for you, Nate?
Yeah, I know there's been talks about, or there's been reports about, as far back as maybe like a week or two ago that, Dylan Harper may not be the lock, but I just think that's just chatter. I think this is a lock too. I think he's a clear cut second best player in this draft. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Dylan Harper at 2 to the Spurs.
I agree with you as well there. When it comes to three, the 76ers, this is where I believe we will either see maybe not really a surprise based off what we've heard over the last week in terms of Ace Bailey refusing to work out for some teams. He does have a workout schedule with Philly, but he initially declined their initial invite because, as I guess his team put it, he wants to go to a situation where he has the best chance to develop into a star. And so I guess initially they felt like Philly probably wasn't that place, given the fact that they have some young guys in addition to a former MVP who would be ahead of him in the pecking order. But he did decide to work out. But also what occurred over the past week or two, VJ Edgecombe went to Philly, had a very good workout. They were very impressed. And he probably is a good fit next to Maxey, playing off of Embiid. And so I think third pick, if it's not dealt, because that is another possibility, a trade being made. If it's not dealt, I believe the 76ers go with VJ Edgecombe.
You're logging that in?
Yes.
There we go. I think Ace is yet to work out with the Sixers yet, right? I believe
he hasn't. It's scheduled for, I want to say,
end of this week, I believe, right?
Yeah, but he initially declined the workout invitation, but they was like, "Are you sure?" And then I guess the reports came that he was falling down the boards, and so they decided to go ahead and travel to Philly. So it's supposed to occur either Thursday or Friday, tomorrow or Friday. So see how that goes. That could change depending on how he works out. That could change what actually occurs. But I think the betting odds would lean towards VJ Edgecombe if the draft was today. I'm the Hornets at 4. For the Hornets is very interesting spot I'm in because the Hornets have currently their point guard, they have their wing, and just about anything else is up in the air. So you could really go best player available. My best player available right here would either be Man Malawach or Trey Johnson. Just because I like Trey Johnson's bucket ability as I've seen in 2K over the last couple weeks. But Man Malawach, I think in the previous episode we had discussed that if Mark Williams was still on the trade block, I would go with Man Malawach here. But I haven't heard any trade buzz on Mark Williams, at least not yet. So at 4, the Hornets, I don't want to pair Ace Bailey with Brandon Miller. Don't know if that's the type of situation he would want to be in either. So I'm going to go with Trey Johnson, the scoring shooting guard, next to LaMelo Ball. Nate, I think you have five.
Yeah. On my draft forward, I'm trying to think. I actually had Trey going here at 5. I had Khan going 4, actually, to
That was who I
the
was really
Hornets.
picking between was Khan and Trey, but I think the upside for me, the star potential leans Trey. I think Khan's gonna be solid. I just think Trey got a bit more natural scoring upside.
Which
I
is
think
fair. Yeah.
Utah's probably kicking themselves because they probably
Mhm.
want Trey Johnson.
Yeah. Oof, 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 oof. I mean, you look at this Utah roster. The thing is, like, obviously, I think there's a need for like a lead guard of the future, but this roster can look very different in the next like couple of days or weeks, depending on you know if I mean like Walker Kessler's in Laker trade talks. Collins, his name has been floated as early as today. We're recording this on the 18th of June. Um, I will say though, like something given this in mind, something that is been a no with regards to Ace Bailey is like the reason why his camp, like he hasn't done any workouts is his camp believes he's a top 3 talent, and then also think he should like they want to put him in a situation where he could be a star. I think given the makeup of this roster and how there's a lot of pieces, and I think there's a really good chance that like 2 members of the starting lineup could not be on the team come the start of the NBA season. Why not take a swing at Ace Bailey, right? I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, like Bryce Sensabaugh had the messed up injury. Um, you look at like the rest of the roster, like Hendricks still has ways to go. Cody Williams unfortunately had a horrific rookie year. Um, yeah, I'd say I think we can go Ace here. I think if Trey goes, then why not take a swing at this guy? This is a guy who shot like over 40% on catch and shoot contested threes. Um, he gives you a scoring punch on the wing. Just the defense potential's there. So yeah, I'm gonna take Ace here. Why not?
I don't think that's a bad pick. Um,
Um,
I think the thing with Ace is if he lands, I said this in a group chat yesterday, he lands in a situation like Utah or even Washington where the opportunity for him to be the face of the franchise is there. I don't know if that's there if he goes to Philly or even if he goes to the Hornets because I don't think he's a better prospect than Brandon Miller.
yeah,
Um, he goes to Utah or the Wizards. I think the expectation is there to where people know the name Ace Bailey, so they're expecting some type of star level performances from day one. But at the same time, the pressure either makes diamonds or could create one of the biggest busts in recent history. Um, so I think he has the opportunity, and if this is what his team wants for him to have the opportunity to be the guy who's getting 15 to 20 shots a game in his rookie year, then Washington and Utah might be the better fit for him. Um, and so I honestly hope that's where he goes because I don't think he's somebody who will fit in well as just a catch and shoot guy or somebody who is having to play off of Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey and Paul George and Jared McCain, or even if it's Charlotte playing off LaMelo and Brandon Miller, and you even got Miles Bridges trying to get touches. So it's like his best game is when the ball is in his hands, and so if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you were hoping you had the first pick anyway. So at 5, Utah can make that pick.
I actually kind of disagree, low key, just a little bit. I think like him becoming like a super duper third option, a la maybe like I mean this is a bad comparison, but like I don't know. Like I think if he does buy into more of an off ball role, like
Yeah,
I
he has
really
to
think he'd
buy
be
in
like
though.
that.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not.
know, but I'm saying
I'm not talking about his play style. I'm just going off what I've heard from him, what everybody's saying from his camp. It's like he wants to be the star, and if that's what
that's
he wants
true.
to be, then fine on him. But I'm just, based off that statement alone, makes it seem like he doesn't want to come in and be a role player for the next 3 to 7 to 10 years. Not even saying a role player, but just a not the guy.
Not Not the guy. Yeah.
without a path to becoming the guy. I think that's what they said. The path. He wants a pathway to becoming the guy.
Like,
And so
yeah.
yeah, the traits for him to be the supersized wing with 3-and-D potential, with the ability to create his own shot at times is there. And if he was to buy into that, he's probably going 3 to Philly. But it doesn't seem like he's currently at his age, and he's still young, but he doesn't seem like he's currently ready to buy into that role. Brian, I think it's on you with the hometown team.
Yeah, so I was thinking Ace here if he was still sitting, but so this is interesting. I think any of the top 4 guys left on the board could be selected here. Um, I don't think Washington's going to move off a guard anytime soon. I don't think that stops them from taking Jeremiah Fears, but I think that probably leads them to look more in the front court. And I think that leads them to try to figure out who they think would complement Alex Sarr the best. So I think given his defensive play style, as we talked about in the previous mock draft, given his play style and what would probably work for him the best defensively, I think even though Man would probably be the better upside pick, I think they would probably still take Derek Queen here, despite how the board is falling at 6.
Yeah, I think the sensible pick would have been just like the safe pick would be Con Canoople if you're
Yeah,
the Wizards. But kind
Yeah.
of like you said with the Jazz, you were at 6 after a year of being one of the worst teams of basketball. You kind of want to take a high upside swing. And I'm not trying to say that Con Canoople isn't a high upside player. But I think there is a certain cap on how high his upside will be on the NBA. And I just think Derek Queen, even Fears, those are players who have much lower floors than Canoople. But in my opinion, the ceiling of what they could become is higher, and that's something that the Wizards could probably convince their fan base on, especially with the recent performances they've been putting up. And shoot, Derek Queen going to sell more tickets than Colin Canoople, so and that we've been in them games. It's been pretty empty in there, so they need to sell tickets.
yeah.
Able to get in the suite for $40. They got to do something about that.
I was gonna say, I feel like, I mean, I do view Derek highly. I don't think he'll be drafted this high. Like, I have him falling to 12 on my
Okay.
draft board, but I do agree with you. I think, like, what you guys have said in terms of, right, like trying to find that someone to pair with Sar in that backcourt that'll maximize his talents and play and complement him, especially if we can get him young and they can develop together. It's tantalizing. Like when you look at Queen's skill set, um, I think the biggest thing for him is just like the biggest question for him is just obviously the yeah, how serviceable can he be on defense, but like his feel and the skill for the game is like up there. And I think like Sar will benefit with another big man that can play make. Um, but yeah,
I think if he's on this Wizards team, the question shifts from defense because I think Sark covers up a lot of that, and it shifts to if he can start to really develop that long ball.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
because the 20% isn't ideal, especially next to Sar, who loves to jack threes and not at an efficient rate. Derek Queen is the type of player who you almost need the jump shot for his game to work at the next level. In the mid range and the free throw is good. It's just when he gets behind that 3-point line where it's a bit of
I
a struggle.
mean, the driving ability is there though, right? Like even if it's
Yeah,
just like small guys, like he'll throw them in the post. Bigger
yeah,
guys, like
but
can get around.
if he's on the perimeter and nobody's threatened by the jump shot, it takes away from a lot of what he is because he's probably the best finisher, one of the best finishers in this class naturally. Um, but without the jump shot, they playing 5 feet off of him. It takes away a lot of what he can do in getting downhill. So that's why if he has the jump shot, it just unlocks one of the better aspects of his game and getting downhill.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Who's
Uh,
this you again, Brian?
who's
Yeah.
yeah,
So with New Orleans, um, Jeremiah would be an interesting pick here, but I feel like if they're doing that, they're probably moving off Deontay, and I just don't think. I mean, just Deontay, but I don't think they're doing that. Um, I'd like to go man here. I don't know, but I don't know how high they are on Missy. So that's the only thing
I don't like
that's.
that fit.
Yeah. But they only go man right here.
I'm
But I
thinking
said,
he's either gonna be him or
I'm a
Khan.
fall.
I'm thinking because I see Murray Boyles get mocked there too, but I don't think they would pass on man for him. So because my thought right now is if you pick Malawak, then he's a guy that defensively you're pretty much penciling in, and I know size has been a big talking point for New Orleans for at least the last couple of years, since it was essentially like Zion having to be the small ball five in situations like that. Um,
I think I think they good with Missy right now. He
okay,
had a pretty good
Yeah.
rookie year.
okay.
I
I'll
don't know. It's really the Pelicans are a hard pick to predict because when they brought in Joe Dumars, there was rumors that he was brought in to flip the whole roster. That
mhm.
hasn't occurred yet, so you don't know if that's actually true. Because a Zion trade could flip this whole thing. It's like because you draft if you're keeping Zion and still trying to be like a playoff team, I would go Khan just because, like we kind of said earlier, they're just a high floor level player. Um, but if they trade Zion and try to nuke the roster almost and start from scratch, it goes to the other players like Fears, like Maluach, the higher upside players who may not have the highest floor. So it's a tough decision to make with the Pelicans. So it's really what you think they're gonna do with Big Z.
Okay. I think so. I'm gonna go ahead and go Khan because I'm thinking if they if we believe that they believe in their players the way like if we believe they believe in their players like Dejounte, Herb and Trey in particular, but those two and then Deontay, and then they decide to keep Zion. I think they would want to keep versatility while also having someone that can play off the ball and complement those guys offensively. So I think, and as you said, they were. I'm sure they're pretty confident what they saw out of Missy last year. So they probably wouldn't go high. I guess they probably wouldn't go high upside play here. So it probably would make sense to take Khan, add another shooter, and playmaker on the floor.
I think if they just continue to build a good roster around Zion, if he doesn't work out, then it's literally just his fault. And at least they don't really have to start from scratch if they have a decent enough roster. To where maybe they can move off of Zion and get maybe not somebody of the same caliber, but somebody who could come in and give you some offensive consistency while playing at least 60 to 70 games in a season. And you're still floating around that 6 to 10 seed. I don't know. I don't really know where they because I doubt they're gonna blow it up, but at the same time, I don't really see a path to contention.
It,
Um,
I was gonna say if they do, I don't think they do it till at earliest the trade deadline. 'Cause I think they're gonna want to see what they got with this team first. Unless Zion is just like really detrimental or like really bad this season.
who has 8? 8?
I believe that's Nate.
Yeah. And we're Brooklyn's on the clock, right?
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah, I think Kalaman. I said Kalaman. Like man right here. Um.
Oh man,
Oh, you don't like that one? You don't like a pick here?
I know. I just wanted him at 9 to the Raptors. I've been
Mm,
I've been preaching that since the lottery.
Are the Nets moving Claxton in the situation, Nate, or do you think they just take him regardless?
I think it gives them flexibility, right? Like they can move. Oh, that is true. Like you can get off his contract, right? I think he's getting paid 27 for 4 years, which isn't bad, but I think you can get a haul for him. But at the same time, I think this is a team that's also due for just a rebuild. Like you're, mm,
Yeah, does Claxton fit the new timeline whenever that is?
you know, you're right. I think yeah, I'm gonna go Cass. I mean, like these are the two names I've seen from Brooklyn, like Common and also Casperus as well. Casperus.
I've been seeing fears.
The things I had Fears going earlier too. Actually, yeah,
Uh,
Fears is available here.
Because I
Yeah,
think we
I'm
took
sure about
Fears in our
Fears.
last one.
Yeah, I just think like to me, he's like he's one of the biggest boomer boom
Boomer
or bust
bust.
in the sense of like not necessarily. I don't think he will be like. There's a good chance of being bust, but like to what his potential can be, if that makes any sense. Like I think already he comes into the league like to me, he's a walking paint punch. Like he will get into the paint. Like that's not a question for him. This is the guy that will like or like that will make the defense collapse. Um, I think he's also ahead of schedule too. Like considering like what his game was like coming into Oklahoma and then coming out. Like I think his ball handling's ahead of where I thought it would be. The athleticism was always there. The playmaking's there. I just think his upside is like super ridiculous.
yeah, I mean him
Um,
being. Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say him being viewed as like a legit point guard coming out after his freshman year is a win for him because he wasn't really I don't want to say he wasn't really a point guard, but he wasn't really viewed as somebody who could actually be the lead guard in the offense coming into school. But he took over that Oklahoma offense, had it running pretty well. He rounded out his point guard skills. And like you said, he's a guaranteed paint touch. And once
Just
he's able to
shooting
really,
and the
once he's able
turnovers.
to get that jump shot and really parlay those paint touches into creations for others, um, I think he could be a very, very good point guard in this league. So I like Fears as a prospect. I like the Nets pick because the point guard position seems to be up for the taking. Because I don't think D'Lo is stopping you from improving the position or
Yeah.
addressing the need. So I like the fit here. I think this is a good pick for them.
All right, you're a Christian.
Then 9, Man Malawash.
Yeah, we
No
don't have
thought,
to talk about
no,
this.
no need to think about it. This is the exact type of player Masai Ujiri loves. Lengthy, and he finally addresses the center need for the Raptors. Jakob Poeltl is a solid NBA center, but he, like I just said, for D'Angelo Russell, he's not stopping you from upgrading or addressing at that position. And Poeltl is the type of player where if Man isn't necessarily ready to be your starting center day one because he does have like the rebounding concerns and he's not the most well-rounded offensive player day one, uh, Poeltl can start and you can slowly work Malawash into the fold as he progresses over time. But I think this the player that the Raptors probably are hoping falls to them. Who knows? Malawash probably has a range from 4 to this point, honestly, depending on what the Hornets are thinking about doing. So if he falls to them here, I think they sprint the pick in. So I'm gonna go with Kamal Malawash.
It's actually crazy to think how like 4 years ago was the first time he played organized basketball.
Man.
And that, see, if I say too much. All right, 10th pick, Houston Rockets. All right. Houston is a team that's been in heavy trade discussions involving Kevin Durant. So don't even know if they're gonna have this pick, but as of the recording of this video, they still do. So for me, I think the last video we did, Colin Murray Boyles, I still like that fit, but just to change it up for the video purposes, I'm gonna go for Rasheer Fleming.
Hmm.
Nate, this is a guy that Nate was talking about in the group chat yesterday. This is a player who I also do like. The 3-point ability at his size is something that I'm really impressed with. He's not the defender that Murray Boyles is, so he does offer something slightly different in terms of what we were projecting Murray Boyles bringing to the Rockets. If Rasheed Fleming is stepping into the Rockets, I think this is somebody who could potentially step in as a starting power forward for moments where, because Jabari Smith wasn't starting during the playoffs, so this is a guy where the position is up for the taking. Jabari Smith is a great 3 and D guy in his own merit, but I think Rasheed Fleming brings some similarities, not as much length, um, but I think the fit is there, and you can never have too many lengthy power forward types who can knock down a three ball. I think it was 40%, 38%, 40%, something like that, from three, and he has the NBA body, NBA build. So I'm gonna go for Sheer Fleming for the Houston Rockets.
Yeah,
How you like that pick, Nate?
I do. I like it. I think when I was saying like based off like pure skills and intangibles, he's top 10 for me. But I think like obviously when you take everything into account, he falls into like the top 20. Um, mm, I like him. I like him. I think that the biggest thing for me is like the the ball handling isn't there just yet. Okay, I guess like even taking a step back, like his strengths, like the athleticism, the shot blocking, the versatility, he can space the floor. 39% from three, like the great 2-footed finisher. He's also defensive oriented, like as a stretch four. The thing for him though is like I think there's no self creation in his game. Like he's kind of just like a play finishing big. Um, Especially like in the eighth. No disrespect to the A10, but not the best competition. Um, Even like his last year, like I was watching some tape after like I was kind of like singing his praises yesterday, the day before in the group chat. Like I was watching his tape again, I realized like, oh, he barely has any like he has little to no footage of like him getting his number called and like scoring in isolation. I think that was the thing where I was like, oh wait a minute. So I think for a team like Houston, it works if he were to get drafted at 10, but I think that's obviously like the biggest question mark to his game. Um, I think like he comes in initially like he's going to be a finisher, right? Like just a play finisher. He's not going to be a guy where it's like you're calling his number and he's initiating something on offense, or like the action starts with him having the ball. If it's not like a handoff, um, I think everything else checks out for him. Shoot the ball, can finish, can play bully ball a little bit, but it's like it's not going to be. He just needs to be put in the position to do so. The question for him is like, can he develop like the shot creation, which is I'm a little hesitant to say now after rewatching his tape.
And for me, I don't really project him to develop it at all because it's not really his play style. Like you said, in the A10, he was a play finisher. He was catch and shoot. He was in the dunker spot, ready to catch off of somebody else's drive. And that's him showing what his positional value, what his role is in the NBA.
Yeah,
I'm not in as long as his jump shot is real, there's never any point where I feel like he'll get played off the floor at any
that's true.
point in his career. And so when you're talking about like the 10th pick, and this is the team that was just the second seed in the Western Conference, I think those are the opportunities. I think that's why we went Murray Boyles in the last draft. Those are the players where those are the teams where you can afford to not necessarily try to take the highest upside prospect because you can go with somebody who fits your program the best today and somebody who fits the program not only today, but somebody who can fit almost any program that you're running for the next 5 to 10 years. Similar to how I loved when they got Tari Eason at 16. I didn't see any realm where Tari Eason wasn't a productive NBA player because he was able to shoot the ball and play defense. And I think, not to compare the two, but I think Fleming is probably a better shooter. I wouldn't call him the defender or the perimeter defender that Tari Eason is, but I think he offers you some of that slight defensive versatility that Easton offers as well. So I think there's a role for him in the NBA, and he'll be on the floor late fourth quarters in the corner ready to shoot the ball off somebody's pass. And he'll be able to defend 3 through 5 efficiently and maybe be able to switch out on to some shooting guards. So at 10, I'll take that. Who has 11? Me? No,
Nate.
Nate.
Portland Trailblazers. Mm-mm-mm. And originally, I had the Murray Royals going 10.
Yeah.
Uh, 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 uh. Question: where did you have Carter Bryant going? I had him going.
I think we had Carter Bryant drafted 11 in our last draft that we did.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Carter Bryant's the type of player I would take here because Portland, in my opinion, has, at least for what they're trying to do, they have 5 starters right now. So you're not really necessarily drafting for somebody to start. You're just drafting for somebody to fit in and buy into what they're doing. Because I don't think you're drafting Carter Bryant to start over Kamara or Denny, and then they're still paying Aitons, and they just drafted Klingon, so they got the next starter up at center. I mean, point guard, you got Simons, you got Scoot, and then you got Shaden Sharp at the 2. It's like they got a lot of stuff there. We're not in the room, so we don't know what they value the most.
Yeah,
And they
same
did
with
go in.
Portland, right?
They went
I
on
think
that run.
Klingon. I think Klingon is going to be their center for the foreseeable future. Um, Man, I look at it now. Like I think Denny had himself a year. Um, just like from all aspects of of his game, like the scoring, the playmaking, the defense. Um, their guard play is weird. Like I think Anthony, not weird, but it's just very scoring oriented, right? Like Anthony, Scoot, um, even
Shaden.
Shaden,
Yeah.
like they're looking to score. Yeah. So for them, I think they lack like lineups of like they lack like multi playmaking lineups at times, like throughout several positions. Like I feel like it's coming from honestly, like mostly from like the forward play, and then even a little bit like the like Klingon has showed like slight flashes of it at times. I'm stuck between Carter Bryant and Casper's here. Uh, who's I'm trying to think. They're at 11 right now, and then next is Chicago. Hmm. Doesn't matter. You know what? I'm gonna go Casper's here. Yeah, for the reasons I said, just give them variety at the guard position. Yeah.
Your same reason for drafting Casper's there is the same reason I would have even considered Asa Newell. Um, just because he does provide you that variety you was talking about at the guard position, those forward and center positions, because Asa Newell is not a center day one in the NBA. He's 190 pounds. He can't. He just can't. But the variety he offers you as a potential off the bench power forward that you put next to a center is something that I was slightly intrigued with. Um, Especially with a team with Portland who doesn't necessarily run the double big lineup that we're seeing teams start to go to. So just to have that option, especially with all signs pointing to Robert Williams being off the team, um, having that next guy after Aiton, I guess, goes to wherever he's going to go in a year or two. To not necessarily play with Klingon as a starter, but maybe a guy who plays behind him and then has spot minutes with him. But I'm not too mad at the Yakashonis pick. I just don't really like Yakashonis as a prospect, but that's just me, I think.
I mean, I think like he's a surefire. Like I think with some regards, like okay, at a high level, what he's a orchestrator, he's a playmaker. And he has like great feel for the game. And also, like I think the thing for him is like he's you can probably credit to this time like at FC Barcelona in Europe. Um, 'Cause, I'm not gonna like feed into the whole like European players like they develop them better, whatever. But like he's really like the thing about him that's not gonna show in the stat sheets is he's very, very good like at the guard spots, like reacting to the defense. Like he makes the right play every single time. I think his decision making is like they're like if we talk about like somebody like Jeremiah Fears, that's where like the bust thing comes into consideration where it's like yeah, the first step is great for him. And like he's a walking paint touch. Like he can get to the rim, but it's like the finishing is there and the decision making is there. And it showed like he's he was his what do you call it? A lot of like the playmaking that Spears created was more so just like a byproduct of his athleticism versus like him like being like several steps ahead. Where I feel like with Casper's like that's him. Um, like he has credible stats for his position, but again, like he's not like the quickest, but his drive, like he has low center of gravity. Um, he has like sudden burst, but the thing for him is just he's just like like his reads are there, and also he's I think the second best passer in this draft. Like I'd probably put Igor first, but um, yeah, I think like that. I'd say that was mostly my reason for him. Where it's just like he brings playmaking to that guard spot, which I think is kind of lacking um, in Portland right now. But yeah, that being said, I think Brian, you're up.
Yeah. So pick 12 for Chicago. I believe he took Yakuchonis in the previous draft. I think after looking at things though, I think they're pretty confident with both Giddy and Kobe White. So I feel like with this pick, they're probably looking more wing front court type guy, especially depending on what they want to do with, say, Vucevic. I think they're probably going to look somewhere more defensive focused. Um, Honestly, I'm looking between Colin, Carter, and Asa. Um, but I think just based on the way the board has fallen, I think if they because they probably don't they won't be picking anybody that they expect to start right away. Um, they probably could go upside here, but I think they probably just go with the board and they take Colin because they know that he'll be a solid defender day one. He's a guy that will help them rotationally. So I say they probably take Colin at 12 if the board fall this way.
Mm. Man, at an overall solid prospect. It's just hard to pick a spot for him because talk a lot about upside, scoring. That's just not his game. It's just I mean, he has upside. It's just not the offensive upside that a lot of people like to see out of draft prospects. Um, but for him, power forward, center. I mean, we talked about in the last episode, small ball five. If he can develop any semblance of a reliable offensive game, he could potentially be a top five player in the class. And so I think that's the real fascination when it comes to Murray Boyles. Because I think in order to take him early, you almost have to love the defensive upside more than you worry about the offensive limitations. And just hope that the offense comes. But for the Bulls, with where they're at, they need some sort of stability. 'Cause I'm hoping that they finally press the button and just start the rebuild. And having Colin as somebody who can bridge for this next group that's coming in, hopefully, it's a good prospect. They could take at 12 if he's there. He probably won't even be at 12, but if he's there, there's something they should do.
So Murray Boyles
Yeah.
and
Thir-
13 is back to you, Brian.
So 13, um, probably just keep this pretty simple. I think Atlanta's probably going to want to continue. Since they're building around Trey, you're going to probably want guys that are fine playing off ball and two-way guys that can also stretch the floor. I don't know. I didn't watch enough tapes. I don't know how he is defensively, but I think if the board falls this way, um, you could look at Nico or Liam, but I think Carter Bryant would probably be the pick here
Yeah,
if the board falls this way.
yeah. I do think like given what like we've heard so far from teams with regards to their perception, like the feedback, that's come to the media about him, I don't think he falls any lower than 15th at this point. I don't know if that's necessarily the right pick, but um, I don't know. I think like he's a ready 3-and-D player though in the league, so there's that.
Yeah.
Bro, let's back to him. Spurs.
Will they be picking for somebody
Man.
else here?
Are they
Yeah,
gonna
this
have
is
this pick?
all
I
right.
don't know. I'm hearing things.
Um,
I don't. I'm not the one to break any news though, but I'm hearing things. Just be on the lookout for this pick. Before the if it's out before the draft next week, just be sure that you know that I was the first one to tell you that it was on the move, and it'll be a surprise.
Eagle sources, man.
Yeah,
sources.
y'all will see though. This is actually for real.
Yeah, no,
I said, I believe it.
I'm not. I believe it. I believe it. If the draft like falls like this, though,
I think it's possible. I mean, outside of, I mean, maybe somebody might take Asa or Noah early, but and maybe there
uh,
may be somebody lower on the board that I that maybe it's different, but
right. Yeah, Dylan. I mean, yeah, if they keep the second pick, which they will, like Dylan Harper addresses the need for them. The guard position. Um, I guess it has. I mean, honestly, I guess it has to be like. I'm like really, thinking about like Asa or Asa here, Asa, but sheesh, sheesh. McNeely was somebody that like came to mind for me. Um, I'm actually stumped, honestly.
yeah,
I think,
because I know we had Fleming
mm,
going here in the last one.
yeah, I'm gonna just stick to it. I'm gonna Liam. I think Liam McNeely here. I think like given the Spurs, um, if there's one thing about them, like yeah, I don't know. I just think the shooting is a surefire thing, right? So yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, let's just say, I'm also now thinking about this pick being on the move, and like, who would it seem like Phoenix take here?
That's not the team.
Hmm.
Oh, H Town.
No, man, don't even worry about it, man.
What's the
Just
third? It
find
was,
out. Find out with the rest of the world.
oh, it's Miami.
Find out with the rest of the
It's
world.
Miami. Okay,
Your
it's
guesses
my.
are getting even worse.
But I wouldn't know.
There's also.
Only team I can think is out central, but I feel like pick
Oh,
two would be
there's
getting
there's
traded if that's
there's
the case.
you're talking about that team where five's at.
See, nah, you keep see when it actually occurs, you guys are gonna be so surprised, man. Just make your pick. Just make your pick.
Okay, we,
Man,
we got you got to talk about this offline. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
I'm about to
go.
say this
I'll
still
go
had to be
Miami.
offline because I can only think of two teams, and one of those teams
I'm
doesn't
thinking of
exist.
4 teams, but they're all the teams that are like are in the trade talks.
Yeah. So we took Liam at 14. So CT, it's on you.
oh, what are we going to?
I'm going to 30.
Oh, oh. Um, all right. 15th pick, Oklahoma City Thunder. We're gonna go. Nate, man, come on, bro. When I think about a team like the Thunder, look at their roster construction. They filled a lot. You know, they got their lead guard in Shea. They got their wings, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams. They got Chet as their big. But what they are truly lacking is playable shooters. Because they got shooters, but some of them aren't truly playable. So one of the better shooters in this class, who is an undersized guard, but at OKC they have the benefit of having so much length to surround him with that I think Jace Richardson could be the pick here with OKC. Put him next to Shea, tell him to knock down some shots, have him come off the bench, tell him knock down some shots. You know, Jace Richardson will be my pick here for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And then the team that just got
There
it.
you go.
Oh, this is me again. All right, the Memphis Grizzlies. Don't know what direction they're going in. If you all haven't heard, they just traded Desmond Bane for four first-round picks over the years. So they may be starting anew, but or maybe they just didn't want to have all that Desmond Bane money on the books because they are not the beneficiaries of Saudi money. So Memphis, I think they have KCP now. They have Cole Anthony off the bench. They've been missing out on that small forward position that for the last since Rudy Gay. So for the Grizzlies, we're gonna try to fill that need and go with Neek Clifford out of school's that North Dakota,
Colorado
State. Colorado State.
Yeah.
Woo! I was trying not to say Norfolk State, so
Got you.
Colorado State.
Yeah, this is my pick here after the trade too. I think like you're drafting a guy like you want to replace like a shooting that he lose with Bane. You draft a guy that's like has experience in college. Yeah, good pick. I agree with you.
Yep.
Oof. We are Memphis. Oh yeah, Detroit did trade this pick.
Does that say Evan Turner?
Hmm?
Does that screen say Evan Turner?
What is?
I think they still have his bird rights. I think he's still owed money. I'd like to think.
Oh man, that's
Unless
unfortunate. That's
Oh,
unfortunate.
man. They must have really
unless
stressed
I'm
him out.
missing something. Unless I'm missing something.
Man, let me look.
There's no way he's back in the league. If he is, then
Oh, he's
what are
not.
we doing?
He's certainly
So,
especially not at $27.9 million. Trust me.
yeah. I think here
Fans really got to
is
work on that, man.
I do think here is with Nas Reed entering. Is he entering restricted or unrestricted free agency?
I believe it's unrestricted because he got
Unrestricted.
an extension, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at Thorber here, and the thing for me is like obviously he's been injured since February. Like a lot of like what scouts can look at, it's just like they can use interviews and like look at film, but even Julius Randle is unrestricted as well, so he has a legit test for agency. Sorry, let me take that back.
Yeah. So Nas is a player option this year, and then he's unrestricted in 26-27.
Yeah, I think the defensive impact is there for Sorber. Like that's off rip, and then I think there's there's potential, there's outlook for him. So given they're entering free agency where their front court they could be losing pieces, I think Sorber is a pick for me here.
Right to the hometown team again. If you're the Wizards, I guess you can pick for upside. So again, kind of going to go with what the board is saying, and probably take Newell. Well, hold on, Because you're I'm about to say because you already have Queen and Sar, so do you really need? Hmm.
I will say there is one guard that, like, honestly, we're kind of doing. Oh, he could fall to the 20s, but I think like if he's available here, you do take him if you're the Wizards. The best passer in the draft, I think. And actually, if you think about it, not worry. Like,
See, yeah, because I could see Washington moving off a guard, so that would allow them to play somebody here. And since they didn't already take Fears, it probably makes sense for them to get a guard.
uh,
That could be a lead guard. Um, Plus, I'm sure they would appreciate a taller guard. So, um, I'll take Igor here. If that was not your player, I apologize. But
no, that's what I was highlighting. I think obviously like a big fan is right. Like the like good grief, can you shoot the ball? But it's like
No,
I think just yeah, I think the playmaking though is like it's tantalizing. He said no, he can't.
all right, for
But
Brooklyn.
yeah,
Oh, my fault. Go ahead, Nate. My fault.
no, that was the point I was gonna make. But yeah,
All right, for Brooklyn, I think it's time to end the slide. I mean, I know one of Chris's favorites is sitting right there on the board, but I think it's time to get Newell off the board. I think it's time to get Newell off the board. I
yeah,
think
I
they're playing
agree.
for upside, especially with this many
that's a
picks.
good
If I'm the
pick.
Nets, I'm throwing darts at the board.
That's a good pick for Brooklyn, especially if they go with guard at 8. You can still address big with Asa Newell, and depending on what you do with Claxton, he could in a year or two slide into the starting center spot once he gets to 215. Um, whose pick is this? You again, Brian?
No, this is Nate.
No, this is mine. Yeah, boy, slow down. Oh, yeah. I think for me, um, I'm gonna go with the guy who's kind of been a topic discussion. Like, all these interviews have been conducted. Um, I will say like one thing about this craft, there like in terms of like the 3 and D wings, I don't think like from top to bottom in the first round the pedigree is as great as like previous years, but this is a guy who I think like people will be willing to take a chance on from what we're hearing. I'm gonna go with Cedric Coward.
Yeah, he's been
Mm.
rising up the
Um,
draft boards.
I think he's also just like key guy too, where it's just like they'll get the best out of him. So
He fits their
yeah,
timeline too, so that works.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're in a weird spot right now where it's like they have the pieces, but they're like I don't know. They need to move on Tyler Hero after
Let's talk about it.
certain statements he made in the media.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, but I don't know. Miami. I will say like before we move on real quick. Miami's in a weird. Miami's in a weird. Miami's in a weird spot where they're moving off of Jimmy Butler, but this isn't a team I don't think like will contend for a championship or even like a finals berth for the next year or two at a minimum. Um, so yeah, I think like Cedric fits that timeline where it's like they're never deterred. Like they never draft or like long term. Like if they feel like they can get a guy who like contribute to them and be it a reasonable pick at whatever position they are in the draft, they'll go for it. So I think Cedric fits that mold for them, I guess. Um, yeah, plus 3 and D like that he'll fit right into the Heat culture, like at least at a high level. But yeah, Christian, it's your pick, I believe.
Oh, for real? All right, Utah. Somebody already took Walter Clayton.
No, we did not.
Are
He's
you
on the board.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Walter
at
Clayton Jr.
21?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. Stop the slide. Stop the slide.
I was like, I thought you're. I don't even think he goes. I don't think he barely makes first round for me, but
I
Oh
think
no, he's going.
if
He,
he's taken, he might be sitting there
I think
around
it's a second round
Boston.
pick, honestly. Yeah.
trust me, just around. Trust me, from what I'm hearing. Um, and then also with what I'm hearing, can you scroll back up? for the
My
Hawks.
fault.
Gonna also stop another slide. Just
That's what I
just
said. Your
just
guy's still
just,
here.
no, I'm not drafting him right now. Just actually I could, but I don't want to. Um, just continuing to surround Trey Young with wings. There's never enough wings in the NBA. Never enough. You already got Risa Shea. We already got Carter Bryant. Let's go ahead and add Noah Essengbe.
And we've seen how it works. How it's worked for Trey in the playoffs before. So
Right. Yeah,
not a
that's
bad
true.
strategy.
And he's on a decent run out in I think he's in Europe right now.
France, yeah.
Yeah, so his stock is elevating a little bit. So I'd be surprised if he's here on next Wednesday.
Yeah. I mean, he's
I'm
shooting
hearing a lot of
40% from three.
talk from him. But yep,
Yeah, I wouldn't be second youngest player in the league. Defensive tools, shooting upside. But yeah, it's there.
French.
It's my turn right now, right?
Yep.
New Orleans, man. I really don't want to do it when he's here. Like he's still here, so it's like, damn. Do I have to take him?
You don't have
You don't
to.
got it. No.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think he slips this low. I think at this point, it's like
Do what makes you happy.
too happy. And again, I will. I will say, I also think like I think Will Riley has also slipped on our board. I don't know where you
Snag it.
guys have. No, I don't know where you guys have him.
I think I've been a
Um,
little lower than 23, but not too crazy.
that's too crazy. I'm just thinking Danny Wolf. Like, what are we doing?
All white first round. The Pelicans.
Well,
Con and Danny Wolf.
24. Huh. Well, at this point, OKC can kind of just take whoever they want. I'm gonna give him Panda. I'm gonna give him Panda because I see Cam and I see Will, but I feel like I don't know. I just feel
I'm
like Panda
surprised
fits.
y'all not. You don't think they need a big?
Oh, they do. Just not more than they needed Jace Richardson when I was on the clock.
You know what? Fair.
You seen the finals? Nobody can hit shots. I mean, they still
Sure.
winning, but
Magic
No,
at
no, I agree.
25.
I agree.
Is Jalen Suggs stopping this?
maybe.
Give me Ben
Maybe.
Sheriff, man. I feel like he just fits their system. He's got to. I know he's got to get his shooting together, but I just feel like he fits
Yeah,
the Magic aesthetic.
Mm,
I hear that. Now I'm on the clock again.
not too much on Ben Simmons for the times we're in.
Yeah, I think for me, oh, where did they have him listed? Uh, yeah, you look at them, the Nets again. I think they can definitely like improve on the wing play. Cam Johnson, I mean, he plays a four for them, but like he may be on the move. Zaire's cool, but he's not a long term prospect for them. I think like Hugo, like obviously he hasn't too much this season, but or hasn't really played too much as a byproduct of like being on one of the best teams in Europe at Real Madrid. But I think like you eat like what you're getting him off for is definitely like the high motor and the athleticism. Um, the shooting, 27 from three is a little stinky, but I think like again the motor will be enough to slot him in the first round. So like slot him as a late first round pick. So
Mm,
take yeah.
he coming over, or
Draft a stash? Question mark.
is he coming
I
over?
think so. I think
Okay.
so. I think he'll like.
Oh,
I think he'll like Brooklyn.
okay. Okay. Whatever you say, bro. I said Cam Jones. Cam Jones, playmaking guard out of Marquette. Older
Okay.
prospect. He about 23, going on 25, 27. But he should be able to get the job done as a wing, either behind Cam Thomas or in replacement of Cam Thomas, depending on if they want to move off of him. So yeah, Cam Jones. Oh man, I'm picking for the Celtics. Oh man.
Well, Nate's picking
Oh,
for us. This is. Oh wait, no, you are. My fault. My fault. My fault. I'm smart.
Yes.
hold on.
I'm tweaking.
Let me just be sure. Just be sure. All right.
Man, this is a
Yeah,
make or break pick for us, man.
he's still in the draft. I'm gonna go with Mr. Fierro out of Arkansas for the Boston Celtics. Um, more wing size. Um, the Celtics have a lot of needs for a team that just came off a championship. It's a lot of needs. Um, you don't really have any true players that are going to be on the team guaranteed beyond Jason Tatum. So just build out the roster as best as you can, and an athletic defensive wing with the athleticism to where you believe they may be able to develop some form of offensive game. So I'm gonna go with Thiero.
I'll say I don't want to belabor stuff, but this might be the year we see a good amount of J.D. Davidson, Jordan Walsh, and Baylor bench minutes.
Yeah,
That just warmed my heart. Oh man, that's so stinky. I'm sorry. I just said that. Um, uh, 629.
you know that's funny to you, bro. Funny to you.
Yes. The
That's funny
fact,
to you.
like, that's hilarious.
Austin
Like,
Reeves is still in the same.
Austin, if Austin Reeves was on the Celtics, like, if he just joined the Celtics right now, would he not be arguably the second best player? Arguably, no, he would be the second best player on that team.
Second?
You're delusional.
I don't know. I don't know about
He
that.
would be top three. He'd
Au-
be top three. He'd be top three, though. He'd be
Austin
top
Reeves
three.
is better than Derek White.
I just said he'd be top three.
So Derek White is two. Who's one?
It's a conversation.
Who's
Jalen
one?
Brown, what the heck?
Oh, so we're just not counting Jason Tatum because he's hurt.
I said, well, Jason Tatum's not playing
Yeah, so it sounds like we're
next
not
season,
counting
is he?
Jason. Yeah.
Is he? Is he? He's gonna be on the bench. He just won't be playing.
Nice. All right. Well, him and Austin Reeves playing the same level of defense when he's on the bench anyway. So
Oh, okay.
about to run out. About to run out a backcourt with Austin Reeves, Luca, and LeBron at the starting small forward next year. So wish you all good luck on the defensive end of the ball next year as well.
Well, you will still
Yep.
will still be a playoff team.
See how much
You
that
guys
Saudi.
will be.
See how much that Saudi money can get LeBron to play defense.
Are you done?
That might be the only. That might be the only hope. Instead of putting 1 million into the body, they're gonna get him to put 4 million in.
Supplements is coming, man.
Anyways, I mean, this guy went under the radar as like one of the better players in college. Not better, one of the best players in college basketball last year. Really agile for his size of 7'1". He can also like put the ball on the floor too, which I think is intriguing. And you look at this Suns roster, and my God, Nick Richards. Not necessarily like a horrible player, but just the way he's always a step behind on every play was shocking at times. So why not take a swing? I mean, yeah, actually, why are we kidding ourselves? Nick Richards is your starting center with. Let's see. Let me see. Yeah. We're going Maxime Reynolds here. Like I know they have needs like at the point guard spot on the floor, but like, my God,
No, you can always draft a point guard in the second round, man.
that is true. That is true.
Look in the group chat.
Wow. I guess we can breaking news. Ace Bailey canceled his workout with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Here I was trying to give him some credit, and he canceled the workout. The second offer on the workout, he canceled it.
Wow.
But the Sixers have not ruled out selecting him. Of course not. But does this give more credence to the Paul George trade?
Anywho.
Man. You want to take us home, Brian?
Yeah.
This is your pick.
Please send me back to all.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Man. So many different ways we can go here. We had arguably a third team All NBA guy last year. James Harden also. I think at this point you might as well draft for upside. We don't know how much longer we're going to get. Good Kawhi. We did have near All Star Norman Powell last year, but I don't think he stopped you from making this pick. So Will Riley at 30 to end the draft.
Nice. Alrighty. Here y'all have it, folks. This is our first round mock with, myself, Christian, and Ryan, switching off every pick, doing snake order. CT, you want to sign us off?
Yeah, that looks pretty accurate to me. So this is what you see occurs. Remember who sent you all. It was the What's the Play podcast with Trace Triumph, of course. Once again, I'm Christian here with Nate and Busy B. Shout out to JB, and be sure to stay tuned for the next play.